like throughout our relationships, there was a lot of verbal abuse. And, the next day I'd get an apology for the behavior and such. And, like I realized that I made excuses for her behavior. Most days I'd say, you know what, maybe something's wrong with her, or, maybe this is just who she is. And I just allowed it to continue for whatever reason.
This is the plaintiff, Rebecca Lewis. She says she loaned a coworker money, and every time she asks for it back, the woman becomes defensive and aggressive. She even sent her a text telling her she wanted to fight her. Bottom line, she wants her money, and if she has to sue her coworker to get the $1,035 she's owed, then so be it. This is the defendant, Mary White. She says the plaintiff became increasingly hard to work with after she loaned her the money and started assigning all the hard tasks off on her. When she complained to Human Resources, the plaintiff got suspended. That's why she's suing her now and going back on their payment agreement. She's accused of dissing a coworker.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Lewis, explain the relationship between you and Ms. White at the time that this loan happened.
We worked together, and I was her assistant manager, and she was a direct support professional.
So were you her supervisor?
Yes.
Okay.
So I met her in April of 2021, and from April to the time that I did give her the loan, we did develop a bond. I was helping her to and from work when her car broke down, and then she did ask for a loan. I loaned her $2,500.
That's a lot of money. Did she tell you why she needed the $2,500?
To purchase a car. I was there with her when she towed away the first car because it did break down. It was determined that, the car wasn't able to move further or, work. So at the time, I was transporting her to and from work. And then she did.
Because you were friends. At that point, you guys were friends, I take it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then what happens? When you loan her the $2,500, is there any discussion about how she's going to pay you back?
Yes, we did discuss how she was going to pay me back. Every 2 weeks that she got paid, she would send me $300, which she did start off doing that. I believe the first payment was on the 24th of June. I received $300, and then the next payment was again $300, $250 Cash App and $50 cash. After that, the payments started decreasing. They were just random amounts, but she continued to pay. I believe October 14th was the last payment that I received from her. That was in the amount of $100. For the next payment that came after the 14th, she texted me and she said, I'm going to pay you $100 on Friday for the axle, because I did lend her $100 for the axle that broke while she called me when I was on vacation. She called me and she was like, I have no one to help me. I do need your help. You're the only person I can count on. So, I was out and I was just like, you know what? Her car is in the middle of the street. If she leaves it here, it'll get towed. So I'll help her.
When did you loan her an additional? Was this 100 after the 2,500?
Yes, it was an additional 100.
And when was that 100 loaned?
Around the end of October, because I was on vacation from the 23rd to the 26th, I believe.
Okay.
So I gave that to her. On Thursday, she sent me $100 and she was like, I'm paying you back for the tow that I got. And on Friday, I'm going to give you more money. Friday came, and that money was supposed to be towards the car loan. She did not give it to me. From that moment on, she did not pay me at all.
Were you two getting along?
We were getting along. And then, throughout our relationships, there was a lot of verbal abuse. And, the next day I'd get an apology for the behavior and such. And, I realized that I made excuses for her behavior. Most days I'd say, you know what, maybe something's wrong with her, or maybe this is just who she is, and I just allowed it to continue for whatever reason. I've been warned many times by other people that this is like, this is not a friendship. You're helping her, you're, giving X, Y, and Z, like, and you're just making it too complicated now. So sometime in September, she asked me to do this housing application, which was for the COVID rent fees. So, like, if someone wasn't able to pay up their rent, they were going to receive an award, which was like $15,000 or something. She asked me to put it under my name and to put it in my bank account. And she was asking me if I had checkbooks to write it off. And, at that point, I declined. And after that, it just felt like everything went down road. It just became like there was a lot of tension in the workplace.
Did you get in any trouble?
Did I get in any trouble?
Yeah, did you get suspended?
I didn't get suspended. However, I was put on a probationary period and I did receive a written supervision.
Okay, and what was that about? What did they find you to have violated?
Well, however, they didn't disclose with me what she brought to their attention. They
Well,
said
they
that
have to investigate it with you and give you a chance to respond. So what did they tell you was the reason they were
She disclosed with them information that she wasn't present for prior to working there. That's all they said to me. And they said, these are things that you have to work on. It's, the things that she brought to our attention, she wouldn't have known before working here. So, she indicated that you told her these things and we have to write a written supervision for the professionalism, which they did. And then I was put on probation.
Okay. Are you going to tell me what she said about you or no? Okay, I'll ask her.
I don't know what she said. They didn't disclose it to me.
All right, Ms. White, what's going on? According to her, she's the one person who, you were able to come to when you needed money. She gave it to you and you're not paying it back. What's the deal?
That is so untrue. I met Rebecca through our employment. She was my assistant manager at the time. When we first started working, she was very informative to me about a lot of things, about other coworkers, about who she slept with there, pretty much the whole staff.
Is that what you told HR?
Yes, and I also told them that she bought me a car, and they asked, how long did you know her? What the kind of relationship did y'all have? It was just a friendship. I don't know what was her motivation, but for me to know her for such a short amount of time, she did so much for me. Now, outside
So
of
wait.
purchasing
So what
the
are you
car.
doing? Are you trying to shock me with the fact that she loaned you $2,500 for you to buy a car when you're the one who asked for it?
Well, actually, we were working, and she told me she had made a lot of money during COVID. She said, I made over $500,000 working where we're working during COVID, and I can do that for you. She was basically,
Well, how
throwing it
did
out
she
there
know
that
you
she could
needed
help
money?
me.
You're the one who asked for it.
Well, I was like, if you can loan it to me, that would be fine. And she was like, okay, no problem. And
Okay.
it was just like that.
All right, so why are you going to HR and saying, and she loaned me money, can you believe it? Like, why are you doing that?
I went to HR because during work, she was mistreating me at work as if she bought me or something.
Okay, tell me about that.
Okay. For instance, at work, she'll do all the creative things with the people that we support. Me, I'm swabbing the deck. I'm washing dishes. She's making individuals wait for me to come from taking another individual to a doctor's appointment to give him a bath when she could have very well did it. Little things, petty things, not speaking to me. I'll come and be like, hello. And they'll be like, I'm like, wow, what did I do? You don't know what you're getting. One day is hello, and it's one day, or can you help me? Can you assist me with this person while I'm helping this person shower? No, ask another person. I'm doing this. I'm doing that.
Well, she's your supervisor, right?
She is my supervisor.
She was always
but
your supervisor. So is she the one who dispenses the jobs and says, you do this, I do that?
Well, she's the assistant supervisor. We have a manager over us, and that manager usually tells me what I need to do. She doesn't.
But you're complaining that she started to give you all the bad jobs, so apparently she does.
No, she doesn't. We just all move accordingly.
Well, then what are you complaining about? I'm confused. What are you complaining about that she did wrong?
I'm complaining about, she went to HR before I went to HR, actually, and told them that I'm too close to the individuals and I'm talking too much about my personal things in my home to the job. That's how it started. So I came in and I spoke to them, and they said to me, Mary, there's been complaints about you speaking to the individuals about what's going on in your home, and you should not be doing that. So I explained to them, okay, I apologize, but sometimes it's overwhelming there when you're working and you're not being helped. I was never complaining about what's going on in my home.
Tell me
I was
what you
complaining about the
complained about
staff
to
not
them, because
helping.
did you take that opportunity because you thought it was her who, was it her who had lodged a complaint against you for that?
Yes, it
They
was
told
her.
you?
Yes, they said your staff, your assistant managers are the people that are bringing this forth to
Okay,
us.
so then did you take that opportunity to tell them, whoever your friend had told you she had slept with? Like, what is it that you brought up
Well,
to HR at that point?
well, well. At that point, I had already told my manager. I told my manager. I didn't tell HR. I told my manager, which is over Rebecca. Rebecca's the assistant manager, and we have a manager. I told my manager via text what was going on in the home before I even knew I was going to HR.
Ms. Lewis
That's
started dating your son, correct?
correct.
Oh, let's talk about that.
When Miss Lewis was offering to help me back and forth to work when the first call I had broke down, she brought me home and she saw my son. She was like, "Wow, he's very handsome." I'm like, "Yes, thank you." He's only 19,
How old is Ms. Lewis?
I believe 26.
Okay, go on.
So she was like, "Well, that's not such a big deal. It's not a big age difference between us." So I told my son not to speak to her, but somehow they still connected. They're adults, even though he's younger. They're adults, so I couldn't really stop that. She used to come, stay here with us, sleep with him in the room,
Oh,
uh,
jeez.
stay overnight, get up, go to work in the morning. Sometimes
Boy.
come back, go shower, pick me up, and we'll leave together. Everything was cool. I would say, Rebecca, then as far as the payments, I'll say, Rebecca, can I pay you this? Oh, no problem. Pay me whenever you can, girl. So I don't know why now it's such a problem. When they stopped speaking in November, here we are.
Well, I know
Before you
why it's
was
a
okay
problem.
with it.
Somehow she got suspended. So how did she get suspended, according to you?
I had got suspended as well. And I got
How did this
written up,
happen?
and I
What
had
happened that caused the two of you to get suspended, according to you?
because we both broke protocol. We both were not supposed to be engaging in these behaviors, such as buying each other buying cars and having relations with each other's family members. None of that. That's what I was told,
Okay.
and that's why we both were suspended. And I was removed from there, and I almost got fired, but I did, and I got a written up, my last warning written up, and I've been transferred. I asked to be transferred to another residence to work in prior to that. So it wasn't like I, did it because of the payments. I just did it because where I was working at, the environment wasn't good,
All right.
and we
So
were not
what
getting
is your
along.
defense to owing the rest of the money? Why do you feel like you shouldn't have to pay it?
Well, I never felt like I shouldn't have to pay it, but it's like the balance was wrong. She said it was $1,035. I got it. She shot me a text the same
Did
day I
you
was at
borrow
Human
another
Resource.
$100 for an axle? Was that part accurate?
That part, I borrowed it for an axle, but I cashed it back, and I have proof
Right.
of that.
Right. Okay. So I've been through all your Cash App payments. Are there any other payments besides your Cash App payments? Or are they all
I
on
gave
cash?
her, I gave her, but I gave her in cash at least $300 on
Well, what do you
hand,
mean? Do you
which
know
I
or you don't
can't
know?
prove.
Do you know or you don't know?
No, I do. I know,
Okay.
Judge. Yes.
So did she ever give you $300, Ms. Lewis?
No, she didn't give me $300 in cash. I actually have it written out the amounts of cash that she gave me. It was $160 cash on the 1st of July, and then $50 cash on the 22nd of July, which equates to $210, not 300.
Okay. So I have a series of Cash App payments, proof that she paid, and they amount to $1,565. That would be minus 100 for the axle. So that would have your math correct of $1,035. But then that means that the 210 isn't being accounted for. Ms. Lewis, were you in fact dating Ms. White's son?
No, I was not dating her son.
Were you hanging out with him and sleeping over?
I was hanging out with him, and we still keep in communication, actually. So when she said we stopped talking, that's incorrect.
Let's talk about a couple things. I see a Cash App payment on June 10th of $75. What was that for, according to you, Ms. White?
That was a payment for the car.
Okay,
I
when
just
was the
sent it.
2,500 given to you?
The 2,500 was given to me probably in
When was the $2,500 given to her, Ms. Lewis?
It was given to her June 18th, 2021.
Do you have proof of that? June 18th it is. So no, ma'am, this $75 does not count towards payment of the loan. That's pretty obvious that it doesn't. And I don't know why you would tell me that it does, Ms. White. Now let's see the next one.
It still doesn't say
This
what
figure
for, so
here.
How would you know that?
What are you mumbling?
I said, but it still doesn't. Those still doesn't say what it's for. So how would you know that?
She's giving you
Those
credit.
doesn't say what it's for.
No, I know, but lucky for you, she admits that these were for the car loan. How can you have paid the car loan before you got it? The $75 back in June 10 was not for the car loan because the car loan was June 18th.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just saying. Okay, I got it. So now show me your piece of paper that had everything that was paid.
Sure.
Okay, come closer. Which is the one that you say was for the axle? What date of the Cash App payment?
That was 10/28. And also on here, on 9/30, it says that I received a 200 Cash App, but I subtracted 100 from that because I did give her 100 a few days prior so that she could buy her son's school supplies.
The son you're dating?
No, her 13-year-old son.
Okay. Did she loan you on September 30th another $100 for school supplies for the child, Ms. White?
No. What happened was my son was having problems in school, and he was going to summer school. And she made a pact with him, like, if you go, he was missing days. And she said to him, if you go, I will give you money if you pass the summer school, which he did. And she gave him the money. She never put any money in my hand.
All right. I've gone through all of the Cash App payments and the cash payments and the reasons for non-payment. This is a study in what can, it's so complicated because they tell you, well, you got to keep things professional. Don't date in the workplace. Don't become, and there are good reasons for that. I've always said, if you can't make friends with the people you work with, where am I going to find my friends? Because I'm with those people 12 hours a day. It's kind of, so it's complicated. But to me, it is just so rich that it was such a one-way street from Ms. Lewis to Ms. White, and Ms. White couldn't wait to say, can you believe she loaned me money to HR, and she's dating my son, and then she told me she slept with some. What does this tell you, Ms. Lewis, about your judgment in terms of who you can and cannot trust, and who first of all, the fact that she was an underling is reason enough for you not to have that kind of enlacement with her, because it makes things complicated. There's a hierarchy at work, whether you like it or not. And then all of a sudden now she's complaining about your treatment of her. Because this is bad. This is why when you and the other person are not in the same position of power at work, this is why those things are complicated. Because now there's a complaint that you're giving her crap work to do. So you're abusing your privilege as a supervisor, you see? So, there are good reasons for trying to keep things professional, and I understand why your employers wanted to do that. Based on the math that I've done, all the Cash Apps, my balance is the same as the plaintiff's. What's due and owing is the remaining $1,035. And the fact that you don't like her, or that she got suspended, or that she dated your son, who's so much younger, or all the other things you've complained about, none of that is a defense to paying back the money. Verdict for the plaintiff, $1,035.
There was never a complaint. Wow. You just wanted this for clout, right? You happy now? But you still look like this fool.
So the defendant is still complaining with the plaintiff. Although the plaintiff wins, she's going to get the $1,035 from Ms. White. Ms. White, you got to pay. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I mean, I never disputed that I wasn't going to pay her. I think she just did this just to make me look bad, but it's okay. I don't mind. I know that I had to pay. I never disputed that I didn't. But it's just that, like the judge said, you have to keep things professional. You shouldn't be dating my son. I shouldn't be borrowing money from you, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end, no one really wins in this. All
right. Well, that'll do it for the case anyway. You got to give the money back. Ms. Lewis, are you satisfied?
I'm good. I wasn't worried about it, and I didn't come on here to embarrass anyone. I just came on here to, receive the money that I was owed. I did kind deed by lending it to her. She can say whatever she wants about her son. I mean, she's made up many stories. I've never slept with any of my staff. That's one. Not sleeping with her son, and I'm pretty sure he realizes like that his mom has mental health issues, and those are things she has to work on. I just know in the future I will no longer help someone that can't help me, and it is what it is.
All right. That'll bring this case to a close. Let's see what Harvey has to say.
So, Doug, I mean, look, the principle here is that if you owe somebody money, you can't start throwing things at the wall saying, well, I may have owed money, but this person did this to me or that to me. If it's unrelated to the money that's owed, sorry, what you need to do is file your own lawsuit alleging damages for that. But when you owe money for a loan, you owe money for a loan, and you gotta pay it back.
I wanted to ask both judges about their sports alliances. I know Judge Milian went to the U, that's got to be somebody from Miami, and Judge John has spent time in Boston and Buffalo. Do you actively watch your teams?
I very much actively watch my teams, as you know.
Yes.
I'm having to put up with it all the time. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, but I haven't lived there in 40 years or more. But I can't, those teams are going to be with me forever. So I'm pretty sure they're going to bury me in a Buffalo Bills jersey with like a can of Genesee beer in my hand or something like that. And so it's Buffalo Bills, Buffalo Sabres especially. And then after that, for me, it's the Red Sox. And for you, it's the Yankees.
I love the Yankees, but I'm not that big a sports fan. So I love the fun of going to a Yankee game, but I don't follow sports on television.
But University of Miami is your football and basketball school for college sports, right? Mm-hmm. All the time, and mine's definitely Boston College. So I see at least one University of Miami basketball game every year, and it's the BC-UM
basketball game. And then, of course, they're the golden years when Doug Flutie left BC and went to play for Buffalo.
Yes, so those were wonderful because my BC team, which I love, came together in Buffalo. So, and he had a few really good seasons. He was an All-Pro one year, so he had some good years there as well.
This is the plaintiff, John Fee. He says he brought his van to the defendant's repair shop, and the guy's shoddy work caused his engine to blow. Now he's out $5,862.29, and he's here in the good name of justice, suing him for just that today. This is the defendant, John Blanton. He says the belligerent plaintiff kept coming into his shop complaining about the engine he installed in his van. But when he checked it out on the computer, everything came back with a clean bill of health. The guy got crazy in his shop. He had to call the cops on him. And there's no way he's paying for another new engine. He's accused of not fixing things right. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $2,000 for harassment.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff brought his van to the defendant's shop and says the guy botched the repair job so bad his engine blew. But the defendant says the engine he installed checked out perfectly on the computer, and he doesn't know what this guy is complaining about. It's the case of Thar She Blows.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Fee, you are suing Mr. Blanton's company for $5,862.29 that you say his auto repair company owes you because they installed an engine that has become faulty during the warranty period. How did you first learn about this repair shop?
Through coworkers.
Okay. And you took it over there, and what did you have done?
I had an engine and a transmission put in.
And this was into what kind of vehicle?
A 2003 Dodge Caravan.
All right. And when did you have that done?
In early December of 2020.
All right. Once he replaced the transmission and the engine, what was your first inkling that there was something wrong with the replacements?
Whenever I went to go change the oil after the 2,000-mile break-in period, it had used a whole bunch of oil.
So did you ever bring the engine back to him and say there's something wrong?
No, Your Honor, I didn't want to deal with him anymore. He told me whenever he was telling me about the warranty that I could take it anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
And I didn't want to take it back to his shop.
Fine. You have that right. So did you take it to anybody else who diagnosed what was wrong with the oil being gobbled up so quickly?
I watched it for a little while, and then I did.
When did you take it to someone?
Early July.
Okay. So from January to July, you didn't take it to anybody. In early July, you take it to what entity?
Just a few shops around town, and I called up a couple of other places, and they said that the piston rings were shot.
Okay. Who is it that told you that the piston rings were shot?
Everybody I talked to about it.
No, I need evidence. I need evidence. You're suing in court for $5,000. So I'm looking at your paper.
Scott's Engine Repair.
Okay. Did they say that the piston rings were shot?
They said the engine was no good, and if there was that much oil, it was coming up through the piston ring.
Okay. Is that in writing by that company?
I don't think so.
Okay. What is in writing by that company?
Just the estimate.
Right. So, in other words, I'm trying to find the proof of what you're saying, that there's something wrong with the engine. So,
I performed an oil consumption test, Your Honor.
You did? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And? Tell me about it.
And it came back, it's using about a quart of oil every 600 to 700 miles.
Right. So all I need is a professional, because you're not a professional, telling me that there's something wrong with this engine. It's under warranty, so it shouldn't be a problem. You don't even have to take it back to him, because it's under warranty. What's wrong with the warranty?
I can't get another mechanic to work with the warranty. That's not the way things work. The warranty company will work with anybody in the United States.
Right.
But mechanics don't work with other people's warranty issues.
I don't know what that means. The mechanic does. The warranty is like an insurance company, so they'll basically, the way if it's a nationwide warranty, you could take it anywhere, and they will be paid by the warranty company. Why would you not?
Yes, ma'am, but they're because whenever you deal with the warranty company, they say that it's a big hassle. You have to do a bunch of extensive testing to prove that the engine is faulty, and then once you prove that the engine is faulty, the warranty company tries to pay them a third of what the job is.
Okay, but they're a warranty. Okay. So apparently you're picking mechanics who don't. That's like doctors that don't take insurance. Yeah. There are doctors who don't take insurance because they say, pay me full price, and that's how you deal with your insurance, and that's fine. But most people don't go to those doctors, right? And those doctors have a very wealthy clientele, and then the other people just work with the warranty company. But, that's the warranty you have. I didn't buy the warranty. You bought the warranty. But, I'd like to hear from you, Mr. Blanton. Tell me about the warranty.
The warranty is 3 years, unlimited miles, parts, and labor. $50 per hour. When he called me, oh God, probably 6 or 7 months later. And he said, I got a problem with the engine. And I say, well, what's going on with it? Bring it to me and let me check it out and see what's going on with it. That's the first words came out of my mouth. He said, well, okay, I don't ever want you under my hood. I don't want you touching my vehicle ever again. I said, well, fine. You have a warranty on the engine and transmission, 3 years. You can take it anywhere you want. So I'm assuming he took it somewhere and had it checked out. So I don't know what happened to that, but I drove the vehicle. I put a
So he did it. Well, why was he mad at you and didn't want to bring it back to you?
He said that I damaged his throttle cable. Quite a bit of things he said that I did to the vehicle that was not true. He's very hard to work with. And actually, I would have benefited by removing that engine. If it was bad, I would have got paid for it.
Right.
But there was nothing wrong with the engine.
How do you know there was nothing wrong with the engine if he never brought it back to you?
No, ma'am. He did bring it back. After we had that conversation that he didn't want me to touch his vehicle again, he called me back about a week or two later, and we started talking again. And then his exact words, John, will you please fix my vehicle? So at that point, I kind of felt bad. I said, yes, just bring it back to me. Let me check it out.
Okay, so now at first you had said no, right?
I did. I did
why?
Say no. Well, it's basically just the way he talked to me. So he said he didn't want me back under his hood. So he didn't want me touching his vehicle.
He hurt your feelings, and you were offended.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I told him, well, look, I'm going to hold you to exactly what you told me. So after he brought it to me, I put a snap-on scanner on it. There was not any engine codes in that vehicle other than a catalytic converter.
Okay.
I did a compression test. It had good compression. I checked for carbon on the spark plugs. There was no carbon on those spark plugs. I don't know what Mr. Freed's problem is or what the problem is with the engine, but I didn't find anything. He said the car was smoking. He had oil coming out the tailpipe. What he had is when cool weather and warm air meet, you get steam. That's the only thing. There was no blue smoke. After he picked the vehicle up, he took it to a company. Ed replaced the catalytic converter on the vehicle.
How do you know?
I saw the vehicle there. I know Ed. I know people that goes to Ed. He has the catalytic converter. That is key. He should have brought that catalytic converter to court. That would prove if this engine is using oil or not using oil, because the converter is going to be full of oil. Not only that, he said he had oil coming out of the tailpipe. There's no oil coming out that tailpipe. So I'm not sure. Another thing, I still want Mr. Free, whatever's wrong with that vehicle, to have that vehicle fixed if it needs to be fixed. But it's nothing wrong with it. The day he came by my shop, he came by 2 times prior. Before we had the incident, I had to call the police. And when he was there,
Your Honor, I called.
Hold on one second, Mr. Fee. When he was there, what?
One of the reps from AutoZone was there. He's the territorial manager. And he asked me, was this guy using this vehicle as a commercial vehicle? And I told him yes. But I asked him not to say anything about it, because if they find out he's using it as a commercial vehicle, that voids the warranty.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say anything about that.
Well, you just did. I don't know, on national television.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But
are you? Okay. So now let me see the warranty a moment. I want to see the actual warranty and see what the problem is. Okay, well, the warranty is what the warranty is. You got the warranty when you paid for the job, so you know what the warranty is. If you can't find a mechanic willing to do it for that, buy a better warranty. An extra warranty, something, or you pay half, they pay half. The warranty company pays their limit. But that is the warranty that you have. What I need from you, though, is, because he's right about that, he would get paid for all that work if there was something wrong with the engine. All I need you to do, Mr. Fee, is prove to me there's something wrong with the engine. Prove that to me, not by your words.
I did the oil consumption test, Your Honor.
Well, that's you talking. You understand that you might not be the most unbiased of people because you're trying to get your money back, right? So all I ask is that it's super simple, because people in your position do this every day in my courtroom. They just bring me something that shows that someone else looked at it and said this engine's defective. In which case...
I just spoke to people.
Yeah, that's called hearsay in court.
The mechanics I spoke to told me that's what happened.
Yeah, you kind of get it in writing. But let's assume you had that in writing in front of me. Then what would be the problem? You're still supposed to go through the warranty that you have instead of suing him, because you have a warranty. And you're still suing him.
Well, Your Honor, I can't find another mechanic that will work under that warranty.
I don't know what to tell you. They want more money than what the warranty offers. That means some of this may come out of your pocket. Yes. Or he could fix it if there was a problem. Or you could prove to me that there's a problem. I don't even have that. I don't even have you giving me anything from an expert saying this is defective. Because I know, because Ed told him, that you went over there and got the catalytic converter, which is what he said was the only code. And you went somewhere else and got that done. So I don't even know that your car's still smoking, or that there's still, I don't know anything, because you brought me no evidence. So based on that, I got a counterclaim. It's never a clean one, is it? All right, what is your counterclaim about? You're counterclaiming against him $2,000 for harassment. Tell me about it, Mr. Banton.
He came by the shop 3 times. That third time, I just had enough. He would come over there periodically, run into the vehicle, getting back in his vehicle, leaving, coming back the next day, going to the vehicle, and it just kept going and on. And finally that day he came over there, he asked for a receipt. I say, look, you done already sued me. There's nothing else for us to talk about. So we started arguing. And the next thing you know, I told him to, get your car, get off my property. He wouldn't leave. So we got into a shoddy match.
I couldn't leave. The car wasn't running.
Okay, so what happened?
Mr. Free.
But you can still leave, whether the car's running or not. You got there somehow.
He drove another.
Yeah.
Yes, he drove a van over there. He would not leave, Your Honor.
Okay.
He sat there in my parking lot even after we had got into an argument, and called the police. And he told the police that I threatened him. They was witnesses there. I did not threaten him. Yes, I said a few choice words to him.
What were the choice words you said to him?
I asked him to get off my effing property.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay.
I did that. And we just started arguing, and finally I just called the police, and the police got there, and they talked to him, and whatever, I don't know what they told him, whatever they told him, he didn't like it, and the police turned around and was walking towards me, and he yelled out, F-U-M-F, and they turned back around and they said, hey, leave, and I said, F-U-M-F.
Okay.
So he finally left. Then he accused me of putting his tires on flat. Now I'm wanting this guy to get his car off of my property. Why would I put his tires on flat? His tires was bald, Your Honor. I sent you pictures of him. The car had sat there for a month and a half.
Why had the car sat there for? Why had the car sat there for a month and a half?
There was one tire that was bald, and that was the only one with 30
Why
PSI.
had the car sat there for a month and a half?
Well, basically, to be honest, part of it is my fault because I didn't contact Mr. Free. I figured he would just come and get his car because I was just tired of dealing with him. I really was, because there was no reasoning with him. Mr. Free is the type of person, one day he's one guy, the next day he's a different guy. One day he looks like a human being, the next day he's got a blue beard. So I don't know what. It just turned. I just wanted out.
Okay, so what's the harassment? I'm still not seeing $2,000 worth of harassment.
Just continuously to come to the shop, Your Honor.
Yeah, but his car was there.
Just basically continue.
All right.
Yeah.
So you got him out of there. All right. On your lawsuit against him, 0. On his lawsuit against you, 0. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Couple of things here. Even though the plaintiff lost this case, the car is still under warranty, so he could get redress that way. Now, the other thing I want to talk about briefly is the lawsuit for harassment. You know, just because you show up at somebody's, place of work, their business, their office, whatever, that does not automatically constitute harassment. It has to be something that usually is prolonged and somewhat extreme. It varies from case to case, but it can't just be that somebody gets pissed off and then you get upset.
Marilyn, have you read John Grisham's new book, Judge's List? And if you have, what did you think of it?
That is blowing me away that is a question that someone sent today, because I finished reading it today in the makeup chair.
Really?
It just came out in October. And I just, my makeup artist was like, can you look up? I'm like, no! That was in the last pages of it. And yeah, he's a great storyteller.
iPad, right?
I was reading it on my iPad. I read everything on my iPad, which is funny because our kids prefer books and you and I prefer iPads. Yeah. Which is not usually the way, but we travel too much, so I have to have it. But and plus I need to make the print real big. But he's just a great storyteller. He's an attorney. He's very compelling in the legal sense. He takes a lot of, poetic license.
It's good storytelling.
It's good storytelling. It's always maddening for a lawyer to read legal stuff.
Sure.
You wouldn't know because you barely read any fiction.
Right. Well, I read the cereal box in front of me in the morning sometimes, right?
Yeah, and a lot of nonfiction, but you have absolutely zero imagination, and you don't appreciate fiction unless it was written in the 17th century.
No, not quite. But I bet you're wondering what I read lately.
What have you read lately?
Funny you should ask. I just finished a book called The Splendid and the Vile that was recommended to me by somebody about Winston Churchill. If you like history, if you're a history nerd, pretty fun stuff.
You're pretty much of a history.
I am a nerd, that's for sure.